Hey guys, on today's episode of the Career Packs podcast, I want to talk about why good art takes time. There's a lot of great artists in the world, and there's a lot of ways to creatively express yourself. And all of that is a form of art. And why it takes so much time, I want to talk about that today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to the Career Packs podcast. My name is Neil Patel. I'm the host of this podcast. And on this podcast, I combine creativity and impact and hope to give a little bit more than I can get. I know it's been a couple days since you guys have seen this view from me with this beautiful camera, but I told you guys only a couple times a week. That's all you guys get for now until I get my permanent lens, which will take some time. Today, I want to talk about why good art takes time. And again, a quick disclaimer for everyone. I have my notes and everything down here. So if you see me looking down and if you see me looking up, don't hesitate. All art in the world takes time. In order for it to be produced, in order for it to be created, in order for it to be directed. When we think about some of our favorite movie makers, when we think about some of our favorite TV shows, when we think about our favorite YouTubers, celebrities with their new lines of clothing, they all are artists in their own way, shape, or form. Art does not happen overnight. It is not something that we can just wake up one day and be like, boom, I've produced great art. We may think it's like that, but that's not how it is for most of the people in this world. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today and three reasons how I strive to make good art. It's been a really fun journey so far, making all these videos almost on a daily basis. By the way, if you guys don't know that I make daily videos on TikTok or whatever, Neil_Patel4, follow me there. It's been a very, very fun journey. And one of the biggest pills that I've had to swallow throughout this entire time is the fact that I'm an impatient person. And in order for me to be patient, it takes some courage. Because I'm the type of person where it's like, man, if I don't get it for the first couple of times, or if I don't get it in the first couple of times, I'm like, oh, like, dude, come on. Like, what are we doing? Let's pick it up. Let's figure this out. I'm a figure it out type of guy. But I can also get easily frustrated if I'm not able to get it the first couple of times. So that's why just learning new things, learning new skills, although I love it, it can take a little bit longer for me because I'm a little bit impatient. I think the first question that we have to ask ourselves, and most people may ask themselves when they don't see their new celebrity or their new celebrity crush drop a new music video, or they don't see a new season of their favorite Netflix show right away after a couple months after the previous season, or when some of their favorite YouTubers don't post videos a couple times a week or daily. That's because it's not easy. I think that's the simplest answer to why great art takes so much time. And one of my favorite examples that I like to use is comedians, filmmakers, and people who make just big companies, big products, big services, big distributions, but comedians in general. And the reason I like to talk about comedians is because it is a art form with the way they do their comedy. Every comedian is different, but think about it like this. When a comedian has a special, right? Like a special, a 60-minute special, a 30-minute special, whatever. In order for them to drop a special, it takes them almost 2 years. And the reason it takes 2 years just to come up with a 60-minute special, just 60 minutes, finding all that material, practicing it, perfecting it, going around the country and practicing it in different venues and doing different shows, headlining different shows. All that trial and error is where they perfect their craft and perfect their jokes, their punchlines, their crowd work in order for it to be part of the 60-minute special material. They need that work. And the first year, they just go do shows just to figure out new content, figure out new material, figure out new jokes. That second year, they're just practicing everything they learned or the new content that they found from the first year. And then once that's done, that's when they slowly start to produce a special. Like Kevin Hart, he probably drops a special like once every 2 years, once every 3 years, maybe 4 years even. And that's Kevin freaking Hart. He's one of the best comedians, funniest comedians that we know. So if you don't go watch a show of his, if you don't catch a show, or if you're not watching his movies, which he does a lot of them now, you have to wait for years before he drops a special. And this applies to all creative forms. I just love comedy, so that's why I use that example. But this applies to everything. And just because someone is a creative or they label themselves as a creative because of the type of work that they put out, it's easy for us to assume that, oh, you're a creative, you're an out of the box thinker, you're just creative all the time. Why don't you just make stuff all the time? And all your fans and all the people that watch you, why don't you bless their eyes and ears with just making stuff? Like, oh, where's the new launch? Where's the new makeup launch that you said that you would do 3 months ago? Oh, you said you would drop a YouTube video a week ago. Where's that YouTube video? Are you lazy? Are you not motivated? Are you just taking all of our money that we like, if we're subscribed to you, like all the money that you make off of us watching your ads? Where are you? Where are you? It's easy to assume that. It really is. But that's not laziness. And I think for anyone here who's listening who's not a creative, I think that's important to understand that it's not laziness. It's learning how to perfect a craft or practice your craft consistently. And that requires time. Just like anything, you're not going to get promoted from your entry level position to a CEO position in a year or 2 years. It's going to take time. Great artists also, what they are very good at is making the end product seem so effortless and seem so smooth, where it makes it feel like anyone can do it or replicate it as easily without that much effort. I went to I was in St. Louis a couple weeks ago, and I went to an art museum and I saw some of the art. And in my head, it's hard not to make the jokes where it's like, "Oh, dude, this is art. It's just like a bunch of colors like blopped together and just stuck onto a wall." And that's just like me being funny, egotistical, just like saying that. You just crack jokes in the butt of the moment. But that's what I mean. It's like it's so easy to just be like, "Oh, dude, I could fucking do that." When in reality, it's not. Like the color, the palette, the way they put all those colors together and made it into a painting which tells a story, which crafts some sort of attention, garners attention from the people who wanted to buy that painting and put it into a museum. There has to be something behind it that is captivating. But we don't see that as normal people. Another great example that I like to give is think about all the people who were one hit wonders, blew up with that one song, that one video, that one Vine, that one movie, that one makeup launch, and they were never able to replicate that same thing over again or have as much influence or excitement behind anything else that they put out after that. It's like, oh, dude, you put out this one thing. Why don't you just make something else just as good or even better? Everyone would be a great artist then. And that's where like this whole one hit wonder thing gets validated, because if it really was that easy, there would be no one hit wonder. For me, how do I produce good art, or how can anyone produce good art? The first thing is that it takes time alone to produce good art. Sitting in silence, experiencing life, going through situations is key in making something that's creative relate to other people, make someone turn their head for you with anything that you are putting out. It takes time alone. Going through all these necessary experiences that we must have in life is when inspiration comes, but you can't have that inspiration if you're not taking time to get to know yourself better, get to know yourself internally, what you cherish, what you don't cherish, what are you going through? And that's where the best things and the best creativity and the best state of flow your mind goes to. And that's when everything just starts to fall into place, even though it may take a really, really long time. People who have gone through it in life are the people that take their entire life experience, craft it into a story, and put it out there into the world in some sort of form of art, a creative expression in any way, whatever it is. It could be through building a business, it could be through clothing, it could be through makeup, it could be through movies, it could be through videos, it can be through anything. But for me, I get some of my best ideas when I am doing absolutely nothing. When I am writing, well, does writing and reading count as doing absolutely nothing? I guess that doesn't count. But being in silence, let's put it that way. Being in absolute silence where it's just me and my thoughts. So if I'm reading something, I'm learning something. If I'm writing something, I'm communicating with my higher self and my ego and what it is that I am going through, what my day is like. If I'm actually just sitting alone doing nothing while I'm like pooping or when I'm taking a cold shower. Those are all great times where I get great ideas. As soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm probably going to edit it and then go out into nature today because it's a beautiful day and just hang out with myself. And when I do that, I'll probably also get great ideas for things that I can create for today. And it comes at the randomest times, at times that you wouldn't even expect it to come. And I think that's what the beautiful part about the whole creative process and creative journey is that it can hit you at any moment. The second thing that is important for creating great art is taking on creative inspiration. Knowing who the people are that you look up to creatively has been huge for me. Every day, if I'm not like creating something, the creative inspiration that I'm taking is from the people who are creating the type of art that I really look up to and that I really admire. And just seeing how they talk about their feelings, how they craft it into a story is huge for me because every video I'm trying to implement something new or implement a new effect, a new idea, a new camera angle, something to where I can just get a little bit better, not only creatively and with my skills, but also telling my story in a better, captivating way. And you could also throw in the word stealing. If you guys haven't read the book Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, highly recommend you read that book because the best artists in the world, they steal stuff and steal inspiration from other great artists and they make it into their own and make it a little bit better than the person beforehand. That's why competition and things like this exist because you see what someone else was doing, you like it, you take a little bit from it, and then you craft it into your own thing. Think about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant copied absolutely everything that Michael Jordan did. Not that he was better than Michael Jordan, but he was dang near close to being an exact replica of MJ, RIP Kobe. But that's the same thing with art. Kobe Bryant's art was basketball. Tom Brady's art was learning how to throw a football. Everyone has their own art, but you must steal from others, take inspo from others to make it into your own. And the last thing that I want to talk about, which helps a ton with creating good art, is just embracing some of the same stuff that I talked about in the beginning of this podcast, which is reframing your perspective with time. And what I mean by that is that if you rush it, if you rush whatever it is that you're doing, you're not going to like the end product. If you really take your time and do everything that you can in your power to make something good and feel proud of it internally, then you can be okay with the end result. Because sometimes this is actually interesting because sometimes you could like rush something, put it out and it'll do great. Other times you can like take a really long time at it, overanalyze it, perfect it, and then put it out and have it not do as well. So I think that there's like a very fine line, fine balance of knowing when you're overanalyzing and being analysis paralysis with the thing that you're putting out versus when you've done everything that you've needed to do, checked off everything on the list, and you could put something out versus making something, not having all your boxes checked off and just throwing it out there into the world, hoping for the best. Sometimes I've done that with this podcast, not going to lie. Not doing enough research, not doing enough due diligence before I talk about something, not knowing all my stuff, which is, again, part of my documenting journey with everything that I put out, is that I hope if there's something that people don't agree with, or if there's something that I say that's not right, out of line, or isn't in tune with the type of character image that I say I want to have, I hope someone would call me out on it because that's the real type of growth that I want to have as being someone who is authentically sharing their journey of documenting their life. I've been trying to make this video about why I left college early for the past month. No, not a month, maybe like 3 weeks. And I'm almost completely done filming everything. It's literally just like me sitting 2 times and talking in a chair. Pretty simple to film, but I just got hit with understanding how hard the editing process is if I really want to make it a captivating story, and understanding how long it takes and why it takes weeks, sometimes a month, for some of my favorite creators to upload a video, a 15-minute video, 17-minute video. I'm like, oh, that's why it takes them that long to make these videos, because now I know what Adobe Premiere can do to you. Today, I was editing for like 2 hours, and then something happened where I forgot to save, and boom, all my editing just out the window. Rookie mistake. So for the next hour and a half of editing after that, while I recovered some of the edits, or not recovered, while I redid the edits from the first 2 hours, I was incessantly saving the project over and over and over and over, so that wouldn't happen to me again. But for anyone who is not subscribed to my YouTube channel, search me up, Neil Patel, Neeel Patel. There's a lot of Neil Patels in the world. Subscribe to me there. It's in the link tree that I put in the description of this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this. That's all I really have for you guys today on why good art takes time. You have to find inspiration. You have to spend time alone. You have to go through experiences, and you just have to embrace reframing your perspective with time, because it's much better to spend a little bit more time putting in good work, making it good, and then putting it out there rather than just trying to rush the process. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, feel free to share this with a friend. Follow me on all socials at the Career Pack Podcast. And lastly, leave me a 4 or 5-star review on this episode or on this podcast if you guys enjoyed this. And thank you so much. Like I always say, take care, tell someone that you love them, and go do something nice for someone today, because they genuinely, genuinely deserve it. Thank y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.